Yeah, great.
Whoa, this ain't going.
Be down the side. And
But I appreciate everybody on the chat tonight for your comments. Well, hello, folks. Welcome to the Bee Connection. Glad to have everybody here with us tonight. Oh, what a week. It has finally gotten pretty. I have enjoyed it. And then maybe some snow this weekend. Yay. Exciting little cold front moving out of the north. So if you ain't got your bees tucked in, I suggest you get it done ASAP. I do have a few friends that want some OA treatments done this week. We'll take off a little early tomorrow and help out a few of those folks and get their bees ready to be buttoned down. So if you're not done that yet, please do so. Anyway, I haven't really done nothing in my bee yard. What about you, Keith, man? You've done anything down there where you're at?
I've done a little bit. Like you say, we're getting ready for some cold weather. It's going to be our first freeze of the year down here in the flatlands, a few thousand feet below where you're at. So I guess Monday night will be our first freeze. So, but the bees were flying a lot today, but all coming home empty. Nothing for them to bring home. I got a video coming out. I can't remember when I scheduled it. I think about Tuesday or Wednesday next week. I did have a couple of hives that had already eaten an entire hive alive fondant patty in a matter of 15, 16 days.
Mm.
And both of those hives were very heavy. So it wasn't lack of stores, but apparently they're enjoying the potato chips before the vegetables. So, but at least the potato chips are healthy. So, but yeah, those two hives, man, they devoured those pollen patty or the fondant patties quickly. So I guess that's one of the downsides to putting the fondant on a little bit early, but that's okay. If that's the downside, I'll take it. But other than that, ladies are put to bed. I've been working on frames and boxes and planning and jars and moving stuff around and doing that beekeeper thing, getting ready for spring.
Yep. And you did post a really cool thing for Christmas. Very good idea.
Yeah.
Give a little Christmas gift away, right?
Yeah. If y'all are trying to sell some honey, makes a great Christmas gift. Very, very portable. For those last minute shoppers, might be something you want to try. I've sold several jars since I posted that. So
great little ideal to finish getting your honey off. And I'd say Tom and Melissa probably don't have any honey left. They're completely sold out like the rest of us. That's probably why Melissa's not with us here tonight. Is that right, Tom?
She's out hustling honey.
What's going on in your neighborhood, Todd?
Not much. It has been warm this week. It was kind of cold last week, and then a little bit dreary, kind of what you would think of a typical winter's day, where the sun just really can't break through clouds, a little bit breezy, just uncomfortable to be outside kind of deal. And then this week's been pretty nice. We've been getting a lot of stuff done outside, not really anything much in the bees. I think there was a couple yards I went and put a little bit of extra feed on, and I've got, I don't know, maybe 50 or 60 gallons left in the feed tank. So I'll probably still push that out. It's supposed to be cold here, like Keith said, for us starting Saturday night through Tuesday-ish, I guess. And then it bounces back into the 60s. So not like warm like we've had this week, but reasonable, tolerable, good working weather, but we'll see what happens. I have noticed, though, that the colonies that I had hive top feeders on, when it gets chilly like this and they don't have a lot of warmth throughout the day, they'll draw back from that and they won't touch it a lot. But what's interesting, though, is if you have that same feed in a division board feeder right next to the cluster, they'll suck it down. So I would imagine overnight, whenever you get into maybe the 40s or the 50s, they probably pull back from that feed and we're probably not taking it. But after the morning warms up a little bit, they'll take it again. So again, just trying to finish feeding off, or building up a few smaller colonies on feed, but I can always supplement with some fondant. So I'm not really concerned about it too much. I just would rather use a liquid feed than a fondant, more cost effective. As far as that goes for one. And I think too, depending on your fondant, if you've got something that's formulated for bees, it's already inverted so they can take it and digest it easily. But if you're using like table sugar or like a brick or something, that's not inverted sugar. So they have to, that has to be inverted. So that's a bit of a process for them. And I think it's a little bit harder for them to do. So anyway, that's my thought on feeding and what we've kind of been doing a little bit. But like I said, I'll still put a little bit of syrup on them as long as there's days that are warm enough to do so. And so other than that, I really haven't done anything in the bees. I finished up some lids that I had to do some painting on those HDO lids, touching them up and sealing up some of the end grains and stuff with some paint, which was a pain. Now I know why I built that wax dipping tank, but I didn't know how that would work with the HDO, and I wasn't going to fire it up for 60 lids. So what I'm going to do over the winter time is probably build, or let's see, I had 70 something lids. I think I need to build some more. And I think what I'm going to do with those is I'm going to put them in the wax tank and, seal up those end grains on them. I don't want to paint. That's too much. Painting is not a good thing, folks. It's just, yeah. I paid my nephews to come over and do a little painting. They were off school on Monday and Tuesday. And so one of them is 13 and the other one is 8, I think he is. And I was planning on getting them set up. And I pay them when they come over and help me do stuff. I pay them. And I was going to leave and go get some other feeding done and things like that. Yeah, that didn't happen. I had to stay there and babysit that thing. Gosh, and I had to paint. God, it was not good. Keith, it was not good, man. I had to paint.
I don't think I've ever heard a beekeeper say, I got to paint some boxes, and man, I love painting. I don't think a beekeeper has ever said that. Now, maybe a newbie, you see some of these newbies that like to paint their hives up real pretty with the little flowers and honeybees and all kinds of cool stuff. No, they love it. They love it. Yeah. But when you get into, I got to paint 20 boxes or 100 boxes or whatever, it's like, I don't want to paint.
I know now why I built the wax tank. I know that. I got that reminder back. I know what I did.
That's like me and my eco wood. Not as good as wax dipping. I definitely won't claim that. But man, it works pretty good and it's very easy.
Yeah, that's what you want. Want something that's easy, that's sensitive to your time. So yeah.
Yeah, well, thanks, Chris. I'm glad those videos are helping some folks. Nothing complicated, just the way I do it.
And if anybody is wondering, the photo on the front, I actually stole that from Clay Burner there. I went on their YouTube and snagged a photo off. I thought the horizontals they had there were pretty cool. Just gives you something to do during the winter if you have an ideal of building something to get ready for spring. So, build you a hive, put some hive equipment together, wax dip some stuff instead of painting. I'm all up with Tom on that because probably won't take him maybe 15 minutes per dip. versus hand painting, which take hours to do. So I'm all about that. So, but yeah, Clay, I appreciate the photo, buddy.
I want to know of the people in the audience who has been thinking about what they're going to do for this next year, who has planned ahead, who has started to acquire what they're going to need for this next year, whether it be equipment, boxes, bottles, labels, whatever it might be in the beekeeping world that you or use or utilize all the time. So who has actually planned ahead and who has not planned ahead? I would be curious to know that.
Well, I did go ahead and once the Miller Bee announced their Nabi discount, I went ahead and stocked up on boxes and frames, and I'm building all that stuff now. I went ahead and bought a bunch of bottles, pints and quarts. So I'm in pretty good shape. I mean, I've got a few odds and ends I want to buy at Nabi. I definitely need to get a new bee jacket. Mine is it's looking pretty ratty. So, but it's a pullover I got from oh Lord, I've gone brain dead. It's about the only company that's got a pullover. I'll think of them here in a minute. But I'm gonna have to get a new bee jacket. I need to get a few odds and ends. But yeah, I'm in pretty good shape equipment wise. But that's always famous last words because you never have enough stuff, no matter how much you have.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you, Keith. I'm gonna have to get me a new bee jacket at the Nabi because
Guardian.
I had a Guardian. That's what I usually use as Guardian. But as much cutouts and stuff we do, the sleeves get caught. Tom knows about this. They get caught when you do the cutouts. You get honey. They really get wore out in this area from being pricked. So I definitely got to pick up one of those.
I have to say, I'm sorry, Keith, go ahead.
Well, no, I was just going to say, that's on my Guardian jacket around my sleeves is picked really bad. And around the fencing veil, the strapping is showing, the little plastic green strapping that keeps it poofed up.
Mm-hmm.
I look pretty ghetto when in my suit right now. So yeah, I got to do something about that.
Take a picture of it for us so we can determine whether how or just how ghetto you are. All right.
Okay. Yeah, I might have to do that. Yeah, it looks like the green strapping that you use, when you're strapping pallets. A thicker version of that they use to keep the veil, the shape of the veil. So it's showing. So
time for.
I've had that thing for 3 years, at least 2 years. So it's done well. I got no complaints. It's pullover. It don't have a zipper. You just pull it over, and it's less for me to screw up. There's the only zipper is around the veil. I don't have to think about, did I do this? Did I do this? Yeah, my wife, she popped in. I can only mend it so much. So she's helped me out with it a few times. But the cost of doing business, I'll get me a new one. Right. But there's so many more. There's a lot more out on the market now than there were just a couple of years ago. A lot more different suits. So
Melissa actually has a Guardian, and she's had it for a few years. And I almost bought one. And I actually had talked with Terry about this. Terry is a super, super great guy.
Yeah,
he is.
I love some of these guys in the industry. And I told him, and this is not a stab at the jacket at all. I feel like that if you're looking for some really good protection, I feel like the Guardian jacket offers that. There's two things that I didn't like. Now, there's always trade-offs with everything that you do. If you make it lighter or thinner, you're going to sacrifice sting protection or something of that nature, right? So there's always trade-offs. So again, this is not a negative. It's just a difference. I didn't like how heavy it was. I don't like the feel. The way things feel on my skin are very important to me, for one. It's just a weird thing I've got. But so it was very heavy, and I did not like that. And the second thing is, as I start to wear these things a little bit more, the one thing I noticed about the material that he uses is thick, and I think it's very robust. The problem I have is I couldn't see down inside the cells as easily with that material. It's very, very thick. But again, it's good because if you're looking for maximum sting protection and good, robust nature, that's great. The trade-off is you have a little bit harder time seeing through that material. So, I mean, there's that. The two that I would urge you guys to poke at if you're looking for something a little different, if that's your brand and you're sold on it, don't change. You know, I like loyalty amongst people, but I think that you should consider looking at the Comfort Pro, or Matthew has that line, and that's all USA made. So if that's important to you too, the 100% materials here, sewn here, cut here, the whole 9 yards. And then Jeff with Apis Tactical, I actually tried on one of his jackets, and I liked the feel of it. The feel was much better. It had good protection on it if you're looking for that, and it seemed like it would last a while. The other negative I would have found in the past with some of these cheaper jackets that we had, the metal zippers, sometimes over time they start to bind up on you. And if you have a good, what is that, a YKK brand of zipper, they're a little better. But honestly, I've had good luck with the plastic one like Matthew uses on his Comfort Pro jackets. I've never had one problem with it. And I'm telling you, I wear this thing sometimes 10, 12 hours a day, you know, honey dripping on you in a cutout, just arms deep in a wall or whatever. And this thing is worn really well for me. So anyway, might be a couple that you guys look into is Apis Tactical and then Comfort Pro. Both of them had pretty nice jackets in my opinion.
Yeah. A lot of them, you know, they advertise the, I forgot the word they use. You know, it's breathable. You know, it lets good airflow.
Yeah.
But man, when it's 90 degrees and the air's not blowing, there ain't a whole lot of airflow there. I can, if you jump in a car or something with the suit on with the window down, you can feel some air blowing through the suit then. But when you're out in a stagnant bee yard, man, airflow is it ain't really happening.
Yeah.
It's just hot. So, but yeah, you know, and even I know what's the company? Fox.
Sound?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they've got a new suit out that some people are bragging about. There's a lot of companies, and that made in USA, that does mean something to me because we know some of the suits are not made in the USA; they're made offshore. So yeah, something to play with at Nobby. See what they got.
And all them vendors will be there, and you can try them all on. That's what's great about it. You get that opportunity to see what fits best for you.
Yeah.
So what else?
The round veil that's like the you can see like 360 kind of a veil. Is that what he's talking about?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm curious too. Has anybody got the clear visor? Have they installed that in a veil? And if so, what do you think of it? That's something I would be interested in because us old guys, sometimes we need to put our reading glasses on when I'm looking particularly for eggs. But when I put my reading glasses on, all it helps me do is see the mesh of the veil a whole lot better.
Yep.
Which is really a bad thing. Then I can't see past the veil. All I can see is the veil. So I know Mike Berry has put that or has bought a suit with a clear in there, and he seems to like it. But
looks like Brad
said he's got it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you have any trouble with it fogging up, Brad? Well, Clay's got a good deal there. He said he's got one I can have. That's a
it's the best kind of deal.
Right.
The price is right.
He said it was a little. He put it on and he kind of grew out of it. He hadn't even tried it on really. So
yeah, the bead math works good for that.
Yeah.
So James Noel brings up a good a good point, and this is kind of what I thought or wondered in my head
Yeah.
too. He said get scratched up fast. So
Yeah.
obviously I would say you'd want to take extra special care of how you handle it or set it down if that's the case, right?
Yeah, no, that's something I'm not real nice with my suit. I'll pull it off and throw it in my I've got a Rubbermaid that's got all my bee stuff in it that I use to tote around. But yeah, I don't take a lot of time folding it up and being nice to it. I just kind of chunk it in the tote. Now JW says that his visor steams up like glasses.
Must be a lot of hot air, huh?
Oh, JW. Coming after you.
Uh-oh.
If I poke him enough, he'll come in here.
Yep.
A lot of steam there, I guess.
We need to redirect it like a defroster.
There you go.
That's funny.
So, Melissa wears, when it gets really hot, she'll have one of these neck fans that suck air, and they look like headphones like that.
Yeah.
When you put them
Those
on your
were good.
shoulders.
Yeah.
They bring air in this way, and then they blow them up across your face this way.
Have you tried that?
No, I just make fun of her.
Oh.
I mean, I'm sure it works well. I mean, she's not on here, so I don't have to. She might watch it later, unless she's
There, Barnhill. Here we are. Here we've got the typical 10 beekeepers and 15 different answers.
Yep.
Barnhill, I haven't had a problem with steam or scratches.
Scratches.
See, Barnhill might not be full of hot air. I don't know.
And he's
not
nice
like
to his
JW
jacket.
anyway. I think a lot of it is, like the temperature, like up here in the mountains, don't get a lot of that hot, steamy air like you do in the south. So it definitely will make a big difference.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it makes a difference, and it drives me crazy. That's something else I'm gonna look for at Nobby. Y'all might can help me out a little bit. Right now, when I'm doing my OAV treatments, I've got the separate respirator and goggles, and my goggles fog up terribly bad, especially on when you're doing treatments. If you start in August and you're trying to get out early in the morning and it's muggy and it's just miserable. Has anybody got that full face visor, respirator, the whole thing that's made in one piece? Has anybody got one of those? And if so, what do you think of it? Is it better than the separate goggles and respirator?
It's a good question.
Charlie brings up a good point. This could be the difference in placement. Yeah.
Okay.
Chris's Frederick Dunn did a video on it, so
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty I'm pretty picky about my goggles because doing OAV, the only trouble I've ever had health-wise with OAV is my eyes. As soon as you breathe this stuff, you got a problem. You'll cough like instantly.
Oh yeah.
But if you get it in your eyes, it just kind of, the next day I'll have what I call goopy eyes. I'm on the bottle of eye drops all day long, trying to keep the windshields clean, keep the bugs off the windshield. So I'm really pretty picky about my goggles, trying to make sure they're tight and I've got a good fit. But okay, Larry there says he's got the one piece and loves it. Brian said he's got the full piece, way easier to breathe. Clay says it don't fog up. Okay, that's some good sounding stuff. Pete got one for OAV and mustard gas. That's always handy.
yeah.
Mustard gas.
You never be too careful there, Pete.
Hey,
In case.
fixes everything. I tell you what, all in one.
Who knows? Mustard gas, that might be what we need to use on the trophy mites. Who knows?
Well, if it works,
Yeah.
How you doing, Brad?
I'm doing okay. We're getting our first little bit of snow right now.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
There's just barely enough there to see it on the lawn. It won't be here very long. Although the forecast last time I looked, we're going to have below freezing temperatures for about 3 to 4 days now. So snow might stick around for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh well.
So Ian
Like
got his line put up.
I was saying to my wife, I was saying that I was saying, darn it all anyway. That's happened 60 years in a row. That stuff shows up 60
A
year
trend
row
is
now.
forming.
Yeah.
Hey, it's something you can count on.
Death and taxes and snow.
There you go.
Yeah, no doubt. You know what we say, Brad? We up here in the mountains, we don't count how many sunny days we have. It's how many snow days or rainy days we have. So
So you're up quite a high elevation.
yeah, we're about 3,200 feet above sea level where we're at here.
3,200. Wow,
Mhm.
that's 2,000 feet over where we are.
Mhm. Yeah, that's about the same for me. I'm between 900 and 1,000 here.
I
So
don't remember exactly what we are here. I remember the elevation of the hometown where I came from, but I haven't lived there in 30, 40 years.
mm,
So, but yeah, so thankfully, winter prep is going okay here. Still got a few things to do. I need to get some mouse guards on my hives, and I haven't put the front panel of insulation on the hives because I haven't put the mouse guard on. I thought it'd be easier, but I have figured out what I'm going to do. I'm just going to bend up a piece of 1/2-inch hardware cloth.
mm,
Talked to some of our beekeepers on Tuesday from our association here, and it was funny. I just brought it up. I said, hey, I can't decide what to do for my mouse guard, but I was thinking 1/2-inch hardware cloth, would that work? And the first thing the guy said, yeah, I've been using 1/2-inch hardware cloth and it works great. So, all right, we'll just do that because I think I have some, so that's a bonus right there.
so Pete's at 6,400 feet.
Yeah, that's
That's
up
pretty
there.
crazy, Ricky. That's like Mount Mitchell, and
Yeah.
he lives on top of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Which ain't really that far away from me or you, actually, Mount Mitchell.
Mm-mm. No.
So Brad, looks like Mike's got 1 inch of snow last night. So
Who?
yeah,
Trish
Trish is 20 feet. That's not even fair.
He must be in Florida.
Hopefully she's
So-
close to the ocean.
I just
Yeah.
looked up my elevation. It's 239 meters. Like, nobody knows what that is.
Okay.
It doesn't even mean anything
So
to me. I don't know what that is.
600-700 feet.
Meters about a yard, a little longer than a
Yeah.
yard.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So, yeah, it's not even, my hometown's 1,100 feet. So, that's not even 1,100 feet. That's not even 1,000 feet. Pretty
Yeah,
low
even-
here.
Now, what part of Canada are you in, Brad?
If you could visualize it, if you look at the boundary between North Dakota and Minnesota,
Mm-hmm.
and where that hits the Canadian border, the 49th parallel, I'm straight north of there I'm straight north of there, exactly 89 miles.
Okay. Okay.
Because all,
So
the-
you're
all
not
the,
you're
all
not
the
too
roads
awful
are,
far from Ian, then, are you?
no. Well, yeah, I'm a 2-hour drive to Ian's
Okay.
place.
Okay.
Not far.
Yeah. I saw he got all his hives put up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just finished putting them away.
Hey, Brad, are you storing any of your colonies inside of a building, or are you keeping them outside?
Yeah, I'll be putting my 6-frame nukes in the building.
Okay.
So I have 31 10-framers outside, singles, and 40, I want to say 43 6-frame nukes in the building.
Mm-hmm.
That's my stage 2 in my wintering experiment, is figure out how to winter my nukes outdoors,
Okay.
because I want my building back is what I'm going after here.
Mm-hmm.
I hate losing that building all winter. It's sure nice to have it for that. It's sure nice to just, put the bees away.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, I sure want my building back.
That's the area where you work at as well, right? Doing all your winter
Mhm.
projects and such.
My wood shop, not my wood shop building.
Oh,
Wood
okay.
shop building is a different one. It's a similar size. The wood shop building's a little bit bigger. It's just 900 square feet, 30 by 30. The honey house is, I want to say 26 by 30.
Okay.
But
Uncle's got a question for you, Brad.
heated storage is a real premium here in the winter.
Mhm.
I can't ship honey anywhere because of the way I've set my business up. I have to sell my honey only in Manitoba. Now, if you have someone to buy the honey, they can do whatever they want with it, but I can't do that.
Mhm.
So sorry. Did you email me about that? Somebody emailed me about that. Uncle 60. You did. I did reply to your email. Because that sounded familiar. So, yeah, I did reply to your email. Maybe you didn't get it for some reason.
Did you see Brian's note where he said Westcliff was at close to 7,000 feet?
Yeah, I did see that.
Wow. That's getting up in the thin air.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we were out there in March in Westcliff. That's a beautiful place.
Where Ian is, it's really interesting for him because he works on two fairly distinct elevations. A lot of his bee yards are down the bottom, and then his farm and some of the bee yards are up top on what he calls the escarpment. It's the Manitoba escarpment.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't. I keep asking him how high it is, but I think it's about 1,000 feet. So definitely, I remember last time I was there, we still had a lot of smoke in the area from northern fires, and I noted that down in the bottom, it was still, you could see the smoke in the distance and whatnot. But when we were up at the farm at the top, it was quite clear. So that was kind of neat.
There was a couple of times, I believe, even down towards St. Louis, some of that smoke from up north actually made its way far enough down to the middle of the U.S.
Yep.
People initially thought it was humidity. I'm like, it had a different color to the sky, and I'm like, that's not humidity. Humidity kind of comes off as like a little bit of a grayish in the distance. This was more of like a
blue.
Yeah, it had a different color about it, and I'm like, yeah, that's.
I notice it when there's smoke in the air here. If I'm not expecting it, like this summer, it was like smoke for months and months, so you'd expect it. But sometimes, in the spring, I'll go out and I won't be aware that there's fires up north. I can't see it in the distance and I can't see it in the sky, but on a bright sunny day, especially on like the gravel driveway, if you have any cement or anything, it's yellow. I just, when I go out and I just look around and I think, oh, there's smoke in the air because I can see the yellow tinge to anything white.
Mm-hmm.
Are those fires in Canada, is that something totally new, or is that just something that suddenly is making news that maybe didn't used to so much? What's the deal there?
The narrative people want you to think it's new. It's not new at all. It's actually, there are fewer fires now than there have been globally. And a lot of fires are worse because the environmental types won't let them naturally clean the forests. So the forests just end up being this huge rubble pile of dead wood. And then when a fire sparks, boy, is it ever a big, that's why Jasper burned.
Big tinderbox.
They spent the last 10 years not allowing them to manage the forest and keep it safe. Fire started, burned down the whole town.
Yep.
Yeah, it
Gosh,
was
sounds familiar.
just a tragedy. And they're complaining environmentalists about, oh, fires are terrible, but they're the ones kind of causing the problem, right?
That's right.
It just can't put two and two together that they can hold two opposing viewpoints at the same time. I don't get that. Doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
It's actually a natural process, and a lot of trees need that, especially pines, to actually open the seeds. We have a Table Mountain pine here in the mountains. It takes 100 degrees for that cone to open.
That's right.
With a good fire, you get those seeds, and even underbrush, getting burned off, and you get new flowers. So it's good for your bees. It's good for it when it's all said and done. After
That's same here. We have a called a lodgepole pine. Not as much here, but out west, in the mountains and whatnot, lodgepole pine. It only reseeds over 40 C, and typically you don't get that except a forest fire. Forest fire is totally natural. The problem is we live in amongst this, and starts threatening your homes, your livelihood, your businesses. I mean, wildlife, yeah, it threatens the wildlife, and there's a lot of wildlife die and everything. But again, this is nature.
Yeah.
This is what nature does.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I mean, imagine back a few hundred years ago when a lightning strike started a fire. Nobody at all to fight it. Nothing. Nobody managing.
There's been nobody managing the forest, so it's really ready to go. Yeah. Nobody going to have water bombers and stuff. Yeah. Back where I came from, before my time, there were some major fires went through there, and I remember growing up. There were no huge trees. There were no really big trees. There, a lot of poplar trees, and you might know them as aspen trees, in the area, and there were none that were bigger than, the big ones were 6-8 inches, right? It's because there were no trees there 20 years before I was born, because the whole landscape burned off.
Yeah,
kind of thing. It was natural, and they couldn't. I mean, hey, in those days they didn't have water bombers and stuff. They had buckets.
Yep.
That's like when
bucket brigade, eh? Line of guys in a dozen buckets, and
it's like Hurricane Helene when it hit here. We seen the forest get laid down, and my uncle said that the forest was just had flowers he's never seen come up before. Just because it was opened up to the canopy that wasn't closing everything in, open everything up, and now you see these new flowers coming. So, I was hoping he'd get some interesting honey variables that we maybe not see any other time, but
we did when I was young. I was young one time, really. Well, it wasn't that young. It was about 1979 or 1980. It was right after St. Helens blew. I remember that because that happened 2 summers in a row. Because we got a lot of ash from St. Helens up where I grew up.
Wow.
And then the next summer we had a huge forest fire right north of where I lived. There was it's a prairie mountain, elevation change again about 1,000 feet. And that burned for months. But we got all kinds of course, what's it called? Fireweed, right? So we got all kinds of fireweed up there. So once the fire was out, and I guess it was probably the next summer, and all of, a lot of the forest was burned off, all the beekeepers in the valley all took their hives up into the mountain to collect this fireweed honey. Just the most amazing, clear, beautiful honey ever, but tricky to get, right?
Right.
You need a volcano.
You need a forest fire.
So y'all got ash off of
I don't know. This Doug saying that the Canadian forests are sprayed with Roundup. I'm not aware of anything like that, but doesn't mean it's not true. Yeah, a lot. Well, yeah, we got quite a bit of ash off St. Helens.
Wow,
that's
up in here. Yeah. Have you ever been to St. Helens? I went up there one time.
No.
About 25 years ago. I was up there. Boy, quite a sight. All that forest just laid down like a carpet. That's what reminded me, Ricky, when you said laid the trees down, because that's exactly what it looks like. It just and it was so stark because I was riding my motorcycle actually, and I was riding up the little mountain highway that came up the northeast side, and not the common place where people go, but the northeast side I went up, and I literally came around a corner, and there was a line in the forest where there was normal forest and then nothing.
Hmm.
There was a line, and I passed that line, and I could see for 5 miles through the terrain and whatnot up to the mountain. It was
Wow.
just incredible.
How long ago was that, Brad, that you did that when you went to see that?
That would have been 99.
No.
I was up there. It was Labor Day weekend, 99. So if if anybody has a chance to go up to St. Helens and see that area, highly recommend. I was over what they call Windy Ridge, and they have a big visitor center right north of the mountain. Which I didn't see that, so I can't say, hey, you should go to this. I imagine it's pretty spectacular. But I was over Windy Ridge, which I think you get closer to the mountain, and it's just less popular. But it's developed. They have a little interpretive center and whatnot there. Yeah, quite remarkable. And being that I remember the ash from home, coming from that mountain, actually being there and seeing that, just to see where that lake was.
Mhm.
There's no lake there anymore.
Mm.
Like a complete big lake is gone. Just
Gone.
doesn't exist. Yeah.
So did you just fill that up with the mudslide and stuff? Is that basically what happened
Well,
there?
the north side of that mountain basically came off.
Get off. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was there was pressure building in the volcano, and then there was an earthquake, and when that happened, the whole north side of the mountain slid away, and it exploded and pushed everything. Most of it went north off the mountain. And that mountain is way shorter than it used to be. There's a lot of mountain missing off the top. There's a lot of mountain missing off. You can just imagine the power, the explosion and whatnot to take, a third of that mountain and send it into the air. It's a
I was looking to
huge.
see what the date was. I couldn't remember. That was 1980.
It was 80, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because we had our forest fire in
45 years
79,
ago.
and the St. Helens was 80.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to say
It was
anything. But I
May,
think
wasn't it, Keith?
Yeah. We read that in our history book, so I didn't really want to say anything, So.
Okay. What, that it was 80?
No, Mount St. Helens explosion. I remember reading that in our history books back in school.
Yeah.
Youngster.
I happened to be just down camping in the Portland area for a couple of days, and I had nothing to do for a day, and I was kind of camping in the backyard of some people I didn't know. That's a long story, but that's what was going on. And they're very nice people. And I said, what's there to do? And she said, you should go see St. Helens. Oh, okay. So away I went. It was a great experience. I'll remember that the rest of my life, that experience. Especially, riding my motorcycle up through and you know what? This is a beekeeping group. So you know what? Riding my motorcycle up through the mountains, this beautiful mountain highway, gorgeous day, listen to the radio on the bike. And there was this infomercial on the radio on the bike. And these people were talking about royal jelly. And I'd never heard of any such thing. And they talked about how, the health benefits. That's what they were really pushing. This royal jelly. Talk about this royal jelly. I had no idea what it was, but apparently it cured everything. And they went on and on about it. And then, however many years later, I'm a beekeeper, and it's like, oh, okay, this white stuff, that's what they were talking about back then.
Good on, Keith. You can hear us,
Hey guys.
What's going on,
How you
bud?
doing?
I just got back from a bee meeting.
How did that go?
It was all right. It's so I go to 2. I've been trying to go to more meetings regularly and trying to meet people around the area and try to find someone who I can gain some more experience from. But most of the meetings are mostly backyard beekeepers. So focusing on beginner stuff first few years, and it was good, and the people are very nice, not too far away, so it's it's good, but I got a lot of information from the chats here that you don't get in the local meetings that we have.
Yeah, I like my meetings, but I definitely get a little bit more on some of these chats. Listening to some of these guys, like Keith, and Brad and Tom, these older fellers, that's been beekeeping forever. So
Oh, I've not been beekeeping forever by any means.
uh,
I'm quite a rookie. We have, and I referred to this earlier, but on Tuesday we had our what we call our novice session with our association, and it's something I started 3 years ago or so. They goaded me into being president, so I decided to do these novice sessions once a month. And the premise is we talk about the next 60 days, right? And I always invite more experienced beekeepers to join us because I don't want to run that show because I'm not the guru, right, to be able to tell all the novices what they should be doing. So that's just kind of where that came up. And I was the one to get the help. Like I'm often the one to get the help, especially this, half-inch hardware cloth idea that people had been using. So, okay, because I haven't wintered outdoors much, right?
so why are you wintering a few of your hives outdoors this year, Brad? Is that something you normally do, or you don't put everything in the building?
Yeah, I've been indoors. Well, I wintered outdoors my first winter. That was 2015-16, and that was my very first winter. I didn't lose one colony, which I was very happy to see. I thought, oh, anybody can do this, right? And then the next year, I split my colonies heavily, and I ended up with, like, I had 60 colonies going in the next winter. And it was actually about the first week in October I decided to switch gears and winter indoors,
Mm-hmm.
which is really pushing it because we're going to get snow here in a couple of weeks.
Right.
So I had this old building well, it's not that old. It just had this building, but I had to clean it out. I had to do a lot of work to get it ready. And kind of the reason was simplicity. One guy wrapping hives, you don't even have somebody to hold the other end of the rope. It's just a lot. It just seemed like a lot of work. Winter wraps, they're expensive
Mm-hmm.
and they don't last forever. So when I was thinking, 100, 200 colonies, I'm thinking, well, winter wraps are going to run me $20 a piece anyway. So that could be $4,000 or $5,000 worth of wraps, which I'm going to replace again in a few years.
Mm.
I thought, well, my building's going to last longer than that without,
Right.
hopefully any major repairs. I was already on the two-way pallet idea. Carry things around with my tractor, stack them up, no problem. So I went down that road, and it's worked really well for me. It has. I want to recover my building. I want to recover my building for winter. I'm just
Yes.
finding not having that space during the winter because, having indoor storage is bad enough. But having indoor heated storage for the winter, that's way worse, right? Because there's a number of things that you can't leave out in the cold. They have to stay in a heated building. Like me. I don't want to be out in the cold. So that's just kind of, and I'm going forward, and looking at the next 10 years of beekeeping. I'll be 70 years old in 10 years, right?
Mm.
So I'm thinking, well, if I don't have to move bees around, if I winter outdoors, I can winter my bees at my outyard, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to move bees. I don't even have to move the bees here from the yard. Bees aren't such a big problem because I just pick them up with my tractor and away I go. I'm only 100 yards to the building. Don't want to wrap hives outside, so I've been playing with polystyrene boxes and whatnot, and they seem to be a solution that I can move forward with. So it's partly just my yearning to try new things, find something that works, and then ditch it and go with something else.
That's good
It's kind of
sense.
the way I am.
That sounded kind of odd the way you said that, Brad, but
Well, I have
Like
this saying: if you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough, right?
yeah,
So
that's
if you're
right.
not failing, do something different.
Yeah. I feel like I've done that a time or two myself, so I'm laughing with you, not at you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I took a training course a few years ago, business training, and there was a fellow there that he came in to speak to us, and he could map out a bell curve of what a company looks like from entrepreneurship to building and then coming over the top to mature company and whatnot. And I never did get him ask him what he meant by this, but he said when a company starts to mature and it starts to go into that mature phase and kind of down the other slope, he said at some point the CEO starts to sabotage the company. And I'm wondering if that's just what I'm doing.
Uh,
Start tweaking and tinkering.
that's the idea that comes with there's always something that's better, right? Yeah.
Yeah, or different. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe you get stagnant or bored with something. I don't know.
Yeah. And I don't know. I do think that I need to know how to do more different things going forward into the next 10 years of my life,
Yeah.
right? Because I don't, at this point, I don't want to give up bees. Hey, Matt. Hey,
Hey.
JW.
You doing?
So, I just want to learn some more stuff.
Sure.
It's a viable way to do things. Statistically, in my area, wintering indoors versus wintering outdoors is not statistically significantly different in survivorship. I think the average over the last 10, 15 years is like 1 percentage point different. So it's really about what you want to do, nothing to do with the bees so much.
What's going on, JW?
Well, I got up this morning with the intention of picking the failures of putting Hive Alive and John Hill and his turbo fondant out of business. Before I started the fondant making process. Made 3 batches today. So far, I'm 0 for 3.
That's bad, right?
Yeah, zero for 3.
Yeah, I didn't do too good with fondant when I tried it.
Well, last year I made some, and I still got some of it. Seemed like it turned out, but I kind of forgot what my formula was, and I got a hold of my mentor, and I think I told him if I had a failure, so I'm glad you're on here, Matt, because I just come on to tell these guys that not to use you for a fondant mentor, because
He sabotaged you. That's what you did.
Mm.
I told him if I failed, I was going to tell everybody in the world. So that's the reason I come on here to tell everyone in the world that don't mess with Matt Ramsbottom's fondant, because it's a total failure.
I think even Alicia's seen that coming to fruition, because it looked like she kicked him out into the garage. So even she's wising up on that.
That I'm still in the back.
No, I didn't really I wasn't set up right for it. I'm trying 2 different burners and 2 different makes and small batches and big batches, but this time tomorrow I'll be an expert probably. About the second day, I'll be writing memos on how to. I'll be doing videos.
There's definitely some tricks to it for sure. Anyone that's done any culinary cooking, especially any candy making, or anything that having to do with remaining at certain temperatures can easily do it. It does take some proper setup, and it's not for everybody, but that's why I'm happy to make it for whoever needs some.
I need 1,000 pounds. Can you have that done tomorrow?
I'm making it right now. I'm making it in about 50-pound batches, so I could probably step it up to 100 pounds per attempt. But
Wow.
right, I can keep up with what's needed with 50-pound batches per.
Wow. Yeah, I would imagine, I've done enough of that kind of stuff that you need, at the very least, have a really good thermometer to work with on that. If you're trying to just make do, it's not going to be good enough, because that's your critical information, is that temperature.
Yep.
Yeah, I bought one of those thermometers. I bought one of those thermometers and tried really hard. It had all the, what do they call it, hard crack, soft crack, all the different things on it. Yeah, I ended up with goop. So
might as well have been a real crack, eh? Just get it.
I had some real hard. I had some real soft. I had some real nasty.
Every year I do that. Every year when I make my caramels at Christmas, my problem is I only do it once a year, and then I forget what I did wrong the last year. But that I know is that temperature, and typically I will not get it hot enough, so my caramels are not set firmly enough, or at least as firmly as I like.
Yeah, there's a little bit of art to it. I know if try it, I would recommend them staying at softball or just underneath it. Don't try to exceed softball with 234. 34 to 240, it's a range of about 6 degrees. But if you stay right at about 232 to 234, you're right in the wheelhouse. I mean, the
way I look at it, you're trying to boil that much water off, right? You're trying to get that much water out of it.
Basically, yeah.
Right.
You're a super saturated solution with that fondant. That's why the texture is kind of what it is at the end. Is it actually, so in 20 pounds of fondant, when I start, it'll actually come out 25 to 26 pounds of total fondant. So it increases about 4 to 5 pounds, at least of water weight that it retains. So it doesn't really boil off that much. You'd be surprised how little water weight you actually.
Oh, so yeah. See, I'm starting with honey, so I'm starting with a different product. So I'm trying to get rid of some of the moisture in the honey when I make caramel out of it.
So you're basically, and it's staying right at the softball or just under it. You're actually just creating a super saturated solution, about a 5 to 1 if you were to take a sugar to water ratio. So it's something it's inverted, so it's obviously easy to digest. I would almost deem it pretty quick to be able to store, if I had to guess, as far as, I mean, they're going to be adding the enzyme for taste, dietase, glucose oxidase. They're going to put all that stuff in there, transferring it back and forth before they store it. But it's just, for me, it seems like it works in our situation, and the bees really like it. So I'm just real cautious of not getting it above that 234. I don't want to create any HMS. Right. I don't want utilization of any kind. It's washed, almost brand new clean, in between batches. I don't want any sugar up on the side of the pot getting mixed in with the new batch or any of that. So there's definitely
and that's the primary reason I would buy.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. Because I know I could mess it up pretty easily, and that's very important.
It is. Yep.
Well, all I can tell you is you get her up to about 280, which I had mine turned as low as I could get it, trying to keep it down. It jumped up to 280 on me, and I'm going to have to buy a jackhammer to get it out of my pot now.
Wife's turkey roaster.
So when you're doing 100 pounds of this, what vessel are you using?
Well, Matt. Oh.
Trying to picture this.
I haven't stepped up to a 100-pound batch, but a 50-pound batch is what I mean. So it's
that.
It's a 60-quart stainless pot, is what it is.
Okay.
Cannon pot.
handle. So a 20-pound batch, a 20-quart pot will handle that expansion. When it gets to the inversion process, about 220, 225, it'll start that foam up.
Yep.
And right there, that's when all the magic's actually happening. That polysaccharide, that basically most sugar is getting broken down monosaccharides, basically that, fructose and all that. So it's one of those. It's at that inversion right there where you can't really be scared. You have to have a big vessel to carry that expansion.
Exactly. I know when I do the caramels, it's exactly that. I'll have a pot, that's that deep and it's big enough around that I've only got that much honey in the bottom, and it looks, wow, geez, I've got such a big pot here, but no, when it starts to foam, it'll come right to the top.
So that from what I've noted, that happens or starts to happen about 225. So you actually
sounds right.
get to that soft temperature. You actually have to walk it, I will call it, just barely up. So when it comes up foam, I'll actually turn it from high all the way down to about 4 on my burner, and it just kind of idles back down. And basically at that point, it's turning into sugar honey. I mean, it's pure sucrose honey. So
exactly. I did some experimenting with trying to make just a little bit of a caramel flavor to the honey without thickening it, without making it hard, and that's exactly where I got to. It's work it until it foams and just turn it off right there, and then it'll come back down and it'll have a beautiful caramel flavor to that honey.
It's part chemistry, but it's also part magic, as far as that goes. I kind of fun with it. I've worked as a cook in previous employments, when I was younger, so I'm familiar around the kitchen. So
me too.
Put some of that to use now.
That was my first vocation out of school.
I know. So yeah, it's fun. It's not necessarily for everybody, but I'm happy to make it for whoever wants to. So.
Well, that's great because a lot of people don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kenneth.
Making total.
I'm one. I'm bullheaded. I'm going to keep at it, Matt, till I get her figured out. So.
You probably burned through that whole 2,000-pound sack before you gave up, right?
Well, I was going to tell Brad I made some caramel today, but it wasn't by design. It smelled like burnt caramel.
You can make that out of sugar, but
yeah, it was. My day was kind of a total failure, I can tell you.
Well, it wasn't a
failure. I'll be an expert by Friday.
It wasn't a failure if you learned what not to do, I guess.
No. Well, Matt brought me out. I put on 2 5-gallon buckets on the hives here in the last week, so I figured I need to try to chip in a little bit.
Well, that's part of it. When you got a buddy, I'm happy to help out. So
I don't know how much of a buddy he is, but he's a good guy.
Hey, Matt, he's going to insult you at every angle. I mean, at every chance he gets, he's going to throw one at you. And he's not going to let loose of an attaboy with you, right?
Oh, I know that.
It's not his language book.
That just means I like you. I'm scared of y'all.
Hey, the coach never rode the wimpy kid. You know what I mean?
That's right.
We had a good time when he comes out.
Guess who turns 19 this week?
Wow.
This little fella.
Wow.
He's an old boy, huh?
Yeah. So that's why he sits here while I'm on live streams, because when you're a 19-year-old cat, you do whatever you want.
That's right.
You don't get told.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's precious there. So Keith, how's everything going with you?
Bee wise, everything's pretty quiet. Ladies are put to bed. A couple of hives eating way too much fondant, but that's okay.
Yeah.
All the folks that I mentor, I got their bees put to bed, making some frames, making some boxes, making plans,
Yeah.
ready for spring.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm ready for winter too. I'm ready for the break, expo time, all that stuff. But big plans for next year anyway.
Yeah.
Keith, are you changing anything for next year, Keith?
Not really. I don't want to make any more honey than I did this year. That was enough. So I'm not really shooting to expand any. But that being said, I've got more hives right now than I had this time last year, so that's not a good start to my plan. But we'll see. We'll see how we come out the other side.
I know you pulled honey off multiple times in the spring. Can you kind of explain how you did that and the process there? Or like, did you schedule it at a certain times or just when you had time available, or how did that work?
Really, I would just go out and do a quick inspection and feel how heavy the supers got. I put my supers on in March of last year. Now we're not too far apart. You're just right down. I think I looked it up on the map. About 2.5 hours from here.
Yep.
My wife's got some family down Great Falls, Lancaster areas where she's from. So that's not too far away from you.
That's about 30 minutes from us. Yep.
Yeah. So our climate's not too much different up here. But yeah, like I said, I put my supers on in seemed like it was early March, something in the teens, maybe 16th, 19th, something like that. And my first pull was the end of April. And I pulled 6 times, but the last one didn't amount to a whole lot. So really pulled 5 times. And that was really just based on I'd go out and check and see if I had some heavy supers, if I had enough to worry about.
Okay.
And the reason I pull so many times, the flow hits really, really hard up here. The early flow, the maples, henbit, dead nettle, whatever comes in, everything that happens before the tulip poplars, I consider my early flow. Once the there you go, Brian. Once the tulip poplars hit, that's my honey. That's the money maker for me.
Okay.
But I'm not sure if y'all got as many tulip poplars down that way as we do up here. I don't know.
So I'm in the Midlands of what they call the Midlands of South Carolina. I'm just north of Columbia.
Right.
And we don't have any near us, but if you get in the upstate near Greenville, Spartanburg, it's all tulip poplar up there. So our honey's pretty light compared to what they get up in that part of the state.
Oh yeah. I make dark honey and darker honey. I never make any light honey. My spring honey is a little bit lighter than the tulip poplar, and it's a browner color. The tulip poplar, it's got that pretty burgundy reddish color. Yeah. So you can definitely tell when that hits. But I pull so many times because the flow is coming in so hard. I don't have enough equipment. I'll put a couple or 3 supers on every hive, and I don't have enough extra supers where I could pull those off and put empties on. So, and I don't ever like to pull all the supers. I like to because I can't get everything extracted and the wets put back on the same day. So I don't want to, during the middle of the big flow, I don't want to leave the ladies with nowhere to put the honey. So I have lots of little pulls, so the hives are really never full, which I think that really helps me a lot. I see some beekeepers that do a big pull, and their hives are slap full, ever frames full, it's running out the top. But then you kind of wonder if you had pulled honey, a little bit sooner and get some empties on there, maybe you could have made a little bit more.
Yeah, it can hit production pretty easily. Yeah.
Yeah. My hives I never let them get plumb full. No. Now you couldn't do that if you had 500, 1,000 hives or something. You couldn't manage your hives like I do. Because I'm talking about 20 or 30 hives. So, big numbers, that's a whole different animal. You can't do with big numbers what you can do with small numbers. I guess you could if you had enough equipment and enough people, but I don't see the commercial guys doing that. So
You hear things, people, putting things in a nutshell, and there's always a element of deception there. When somebody will say, well, when a super is 80% full, then you put another one on or something. That's not necessarily the case in every case, right? For example, I struggled with that for my first, 2 or 3 years. And then I was consulting other beekeepers, and one of them told me, he said, in the first part of my flow, if they're working a box, I add one, right? So he's got to have an empty box. But then you have to know your flow, because if you're getting into the last week or two of your flow and they're starting to work an empty box, you don't want to add one at that time, right? So there's no hard and fast rule that is based on how much honey is in the box. You kind of have to know your flow, and that only comes from experience. That's all.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a strategy for next year. My goal is to have about 100 production colonies, but I may not be able to get enough supers to just keep stacking them on and harvest once. So I'm trying, and I do most of the labor, so I'm trying to figure it all out.
Oh,
you're having trouble, Ricky.
Somebody's been chewing on wires. You can't hear him.
Were you hungry, Ricky?
My dog chewed my cord, so I may lose you guys here in just a few minutes. So,
what cord is that?
Is the dog still alive?
That's the computer cord.
You got to hang around long enough to get us signed off, so we don't have to get Lee back in here.
I know. So, my computer says it's on empty, so if I lose y'all, you know what happened.
We're stuck then.
Yeah.
We're in chat purgatory.
Yeah, you'll have to stay there all night. So that's just great.
Well, Kenneth, I don't know if that if my long-winded response did you much good or not, but that's kind of how I do it. I do lots of pulls. I don't let my hives get plumb full. Brian made a comment there about uncapped frames are easier to spin out than full. Mm-hmm. I totally agree with that. My flow comes in so fast that it's like the ladies don't have enough time to cap everything. Thankfully, when I do moisture checks, I think that's really important. To check the uncapped ones, obviously, but a lot of times the uncapped stuff is good to go.
That's another falsehood that if it's not capped, it's not ready. That's not true. They'll never cap at all because the bees know better. They're not going to cap honey that they're going to use in the next 30 days. And
it's so much easier, like Brian said, to spin out uncapped honey. You don't generate much wax that way. If you're looking to generate some wax for candles or whatever you want to do with it, spinning out uncapped honey don't give you any wax. It just gives you honey.
Yeah.
So
it's a lot easier to dry down too when you bring it inside. If it doesn't down.
Yeah, we've got a hot room. Our honey house is set up with a big dehumidifier and heater. And
I was going to say that. Invest in that.
Yep.
So a good dehumidifier.
Yep.
Yeah. I've got my breezeway set up where I can turn it into a little hot room with a dehumidifier and some fans and stack up supers, and I can drop the moisture pretty easy if I need to in there in a couple of days.
What percentage do you like to run, Keith, for in your
hot room? I'd say my average is around 17 of what I put in jars.
So relative humidity, your dehumidifier.
Oh, I can get it down to around 50% in my little breezeway, and I usually crank the temperature up. I just helps. Use a little space heater. Looks like one of the old steam radiators, but it's full of oil. Yeah. But I can run that thing on low, and I can get that little breezeway up to 95 degrees pretty easy.
Yep.
So if I can get 95 degrees, I put 3 fans in there blowing down through each stack of supers and get my little dehumidifiers in there around 50%. Man, you can, especially with it uncapped, you can drop it really quick.
That's about what you're looking at. 50% will run you about 18% moisture in the honey.
Yeah. So
that's what I run my honey house. When I start bringing honey in it, I'll bring the temperature up, like you say, I'll bring it up. 30C is what I bring it up to, so I think it's maybe about 85F or something like that, and set my dehumidifier at 50%. And boy, because it'll sit in there a while. I don't have eye beetles, so it can sit in there for a while, and it spins out. Man, it spins out beautiful. 16, 17%.
Yeah. I go straight from the hot room into the spinner. So yeah, with it nice and warm, 90, 95 degrees, it comes out good, which that saves you time too. But
now, a caution: you don't want your honey too dry, because guess what? You're selling your honey by weight, so you want to sell that water.
Yeah.
Right.
Good point. But the uncapped thing, I think that is important. Like Brad said, I know some folks that they will not pull it until it's capped, and they wait the whole season to get it capped. And
a cheap refractometer is all you need. You watch Ian's videos. You watch him when he's testing to see if he's going to harvest. None of it's capped.
Yeah.
There's almost none of it is capped.
Yeah.
Of course, nectar source has a lot to do with that. Canola is a very dry honey.
And plus it, with the flow starting that early, I try to, I was there when our farmers market opened up in early May. I was selling honey in May. So, it works out good for me in several ways. But I'm no expert by any means, but it works for me in this area with the flow that I have.
Just a quick cameo. This is 19-year-old sister.
Wow.
Here. Yeah.
You must be doing something right with your cats.
Good food and lots of love.
Tom, I've got some questions about the honey straws that you guys used. If you want to talk about that.
Sure.
All right. The company that you used, was it Honey Acres?
That's right.
Okay. How was the process with them? Are you happy with what you've gotten? Yeah,
I am actually. There was no problems with them whatsoever. We have a whole bunch of boxes back there. So, you're not going to be able to see it on here. I can try to show it. So, basically you have just a regular small straw and sealed up, and then the wrapper that you see in there. You can barely read it. That's our logo.
Okay.
That's on there. So, at least I always hated the one thing we had with the straws when we would make them ourselves, because we have a little straw filling machine that we bought from Anthony something or other. Honestly, I should probably get rid of it because I'd have no intention of using it again. But the process was good. It's just making the straws is just a huge time suck. You know what I mean? It's just when Melissa would have, and she'd run. I'd know when she got started and when she finished, and I'd be like, okay, how many did you get made? And I'd run a calculation to figure out, what that looked like. And I'm like, we're just not, I'm like, we either got to raise our price or do something, So now, we sent these to Wisconsin. Well, when we took them up there for the Midwest Honeybee Expo, that's up. It was in Waukesha, Wisconsin, up off the coast, or not the coast, off the just off the beaten path from Milwaukee. And it was a really great place to deal with. I would tell you, if you're going to send some buckets up there or take them up there, don't just do one bucket or two buckets. The more you do, the better off you are, because there's so much waste in the machine that they're going to push out. And they claim they throw it away. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't know. But I can't remember now what it ends up being. I want to say 10 or 15 pounds of waste or something.
Wow.
So it was significant, but the process was easy. It was good. They basically will buy honey and they'll actually buy varietals and stuff like that. So, for us, it was good. I got to talk to one of the owners up there when we were there dropping off. It was before the Midwest Honeybee Expo. We came in a little bit early the day before, dropped it off, walked around the facility just a little bit. He actually gave us a whole bunch of different samples of things that they did to send home with us and sent them home with us. And I think it took us maybe 2-3 weeks or so to get it back, and they shipped it back.
between 10 and 13 cents in each straw. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, I'd have to look back at the calculate what we had in each straw, but it's definitely worth it because I don't have to spend any time doing it, you know. So
Yeah, I've seen some videos of people doing it, and I have no intention of doing it myself. But it's something I'd like to have on the table.
yeah,
We find that the more variety you have on a market table, especially those smaller items, really does help.
it does really.
I mean, I have to say honestly, we don't sell a ton of those straws. I use them more for when I do giving away, when I do talks at schools and things like that, or like the local bee shop here in St. Louis buys them from us and resells them. But like as far as like selling them on our table, I don't sell a whole ton of them from our table.
It depends. There's some markets you won't sell many. Some markets you'll sell a lot. So it just kind of depends.
And you took the buckets up there in person, so you didn't ship them.
Correct. Yeah, I can't remember what the shipping cost was going to be from where I'm at up to them.
We had to pay for the return shipping.
We got an opportunity to go to the Midwest Honeybee Expo, and our intention wasn't to go. We wanted to, but then the way it kind of worked out, basically my fuel up there and back is what it would have cost me to ship the buckets of honey one way was my fuel up there and back. So.
Yeah, I've never shipped buckets before, so I've talked with them at Honey Acres and gotten their recommendation, but I haven't done it before. So I was wondering if you had some tips for, how to pack it up so we don't have a split bucket.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. My first thought is have a lid that is extremely tight on there, and they have to pull the seal off, to pop the lid off, kind of deal. I mean, I would imagine you could probably slap a label right on it, but
she said, the lady I spoke with, I don't remember her name right now, but she said some people do that, just seal it up really well, tape up the lid, and ship it as is.
I would say have a nice thick bucket, a 90 plus mil bucket. Don't use a thin bucket because those guys aren't going to take it easy on that, for one. I mean, you always run the risk of them getting busted, I guess. It's a much simpler process for them to ship back boxes, pick up all those boxes, ship back the boxes with the straws already in. I think each box here has like 4,000 straws in each one. But it'll be a box that comes like this. And I mean, it is just plumb full.
Okay.
It's just plumb full of straws. I don't know how many pounds this is. Probably says on here.
Judging by how much you grunted, it was probably like 4 or 5 pounds.
No, it was I think it was 4.5. It's 4.5. I gave it one Ugga Dugga. That's what it was. I do that sometimes when I'm lifting my spoon.
Now, Kenneth, it's for an option for you. I talked to a lady down in South Carolina about making some straws for me. She's in Clover, South Carolina. That's a great name for a bee company. Definitely, or a great place for one. Are you on Facebook?
Not really. No, we have an Instagram for our farm, but I can get on there and find her if you have a name.
Yeah, her name is Cynthia Haynes, Haynes Robinson.
Okay.
That might be an option for you, and that would be a whole lot easier to get her some honey.
Yeah, I could drive over there.
Right up the road. She said she's 10 minutes from south of Charlotte. So yeah, that'd be pretty handy for you.
Yep.
Even if it was a little bit more expensive for you, it's probably worth it because your shipping cost of honey is not going to be extremely cheap. But
she told me in a note, see if this sounds anywhere close to what you normally get. 1 pound of honey gets 100 straws.
I don't know. There's a tablespoon. How much is
you've got about a tablespoon of honey in each one. I'm not sure.
Okay, that don't sound right then.
Brad's the mathematician. What do you got, Brad?
That's tablespoons and stuff. I have no idea.
That's right. We're speaking Chinese to you.
Well, when I send 5 kgs of honey into my packer to make honey straws, they make about 750 straws out of it. So that's all I can say.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll have to talk with her and see what they do. Have you guys had any of your straws crystallize and then had to reheat them to liquefy? Is that an issue?
Yes, we
Uh,
have had to do that.
We
But
put them in
yeah,
the kitchen
I don't
sink
see it
with
as an
hot tap
issue.
water.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not really an issue. I mean, because there's just very little, you have more surface area
Right.
Yeah.
in the straw. It doesn't
And then
take long.
put 'em
Not
in the
like doing a
freezer.
bottle of honey.
Mine stay in the freezer. When I get
Yeah,
them
good
made,
call.
we go straight in the freezer.
Yeah, that would be a good place for them. Absolutely, is in the freezer. But I mean, as far as uncrystallizing them, it
Yeah.
would be a short time.
Did y'all see Ricky's note that Lee's going to kill the Chad at 10?
10 your time or 10 my time?
10 my time.
Because it's only 8:56 here, so it's not even 9.
Yeah, I think it's going to be in 4 minutes.
Uh-oh. Do we need to talk fast?
Oh no.
Okay, now Brent says 64 straws per pound. So if she's getting 100, I guess that's pretty good. Or really bad. I'm not sure. What do y'all get for your straws?
2 for $1.
2 for $1.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
50 cents.
If you do the math, that's some good money.
That is $70 a kilogram or something like that.
Yeah.
Brad, that's Chinese. I don't understand kilogram. You're gonna have to
$35 a pound.
Okay, now okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yes,
If you could
okay.
turn your
Now
entire production into straws and sell it, that would be really good money.
yeah. Oh, Brent came through as well.
I was thinking about doing some straws, just like y'all said. There's something else to put out on my table.
Absolutely.
'Cause
Well,
I have-
it's nice too, like if there's a kid that comes up, to
Right.
my table, like we've talked
Right.
about this before, even Brian and I've
Yeah.
walked up. If there's some kid that shows some grave interest and
Mhm.
he sparks an interest in me, that
Yep.
kid's gonna walk away with something. I'm gonna be like,
Oh
here,
yeah.
here you go, man.
Yep.
Get out
Yeah.
of here. You know what I mean?
I mean, I usually have samples on my table anyway, so
Yeah.
Yeah. I do the same thing.
Well, if there's a kid that, it's very seldom do you ever see a young man or a young lady show interest in beekeeping or something. But if they're pertinently asking questions and have interest in it, it's you want to leave them with a good taste in their mouth.
Yep.
Figuratively and
Literally.
right? So, yeah. And Brian and I have talked about this before too. It's like, sometimes there's just that, I don't know. If somebody on there or somebody is really, you're like, here, just give them something and take it. Yeah, there you go, Brian. The cool kid discount.
The cool kid discount. I like that. Yeah, I've got a few kids that hang around the markets, and I call them my best non-paying customers.
Yeah.
Well, good. Thanks for the information, Tom. I'll have
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
look around. It looks like there may be some closer options as well. I'll look at.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that would be best in your best interest there for sure. But we had a good experience with Honey Acres. I would absolutely use them again. There was, everything that we talked about is kind of the way it happened. So, that's what can't ask for anything more, I guess.
Yeah, it looks like they do a lot of different stuff looking through their website. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they sent me, and I don't even know what I did with them, honestly. They sent me back with all kinds of samples on creamed honeys and varietals and all kinds of cool stuff. Even some of my favorite, the orange blossom, which actually one guy came out today from St. Louis and bought 4 buckets of honey from me and wants to start selling our honey, and because they're only producing a small amount, but they have a really good market where they're at. Down in St. Louis, a real niche area. And he actually sources some, it's California orange. And when I told him, when we were talking last night at a meeting, so Matt, myself, and Melissa were at a meeting for the Missouri State Extension Office, and that had to do with the API insurance, which is rainfall insurance, the ELAP program, which is a USDA payout program on livestock. and then talked about sales tax and what that looks like here in our state. And anyway, I was telling him, I'm like, we started talking about orange blossom. And anyway, he was messaging me this morning today, and he goes, and he said he had some, and I'm like, if you have some, bring me one and I'll pay you for it. But anyway, he brings it out and he's like, no charge. So first thing I did was crack into it to see. It didn't have much of a fragrance about it, because I've opened bottles of orange blossom before and you catch that, but I tasted it and it was amazing. So so that place does a lot of varietals basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, Todd and Brian's got their West Coast chat right after this one, so y'all slide over there and support them.
I don't think tonight, Keith, if I'm not mistaken, I don't believe that's tonight. I think they're doing every other week. So Brian, you're still in here. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, okay.
I think that was going to be
13th.
13th.
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind.
And Tom, I've got another question for you.
Sure.
The bourbon barrels that you guys use, I think you mentioned before that they sometimes leak when you got honey in there. I've got a test batch in mine. It's been in there about a month and it's just started to leak at a month. Mm-hmm. What did you do to correct that, or did you just let it go?
No, that part's frustrating, honestly.
We put tubs under where it was leaking.
We did put tubs under where it was leaking, but you can also take wet towels and throw them over the wood. We're trying to rehydrate the wood the best you can, because with honey being hydroscopic, it's going to pull moisture out of it, out of the wood, and the staves are going to open up and they are going to leak. Luckily, on the couple batches I had done previous, they didn't start leaking until the last couple weeks, and it was really slow. So it was not much of a problem. The barrel that I had this time started leaking almost from the get-go, which has just been trying for me the entire time. So I would almost suggest to somebody, like for instance, the other day I was trying to find somebody had some barrels, some 15-gallon barrels, which are really convenient to use because you get more surface area with them. And then I asked her about them, and I said, how long has it been since the bourbon's been out? And I said, I'm wanting to know if the inside is still wet or if it's dry, because if it's dry, that's a problem. Mm-hmm. So she's like, no, they're wet. I've put water in it. And I'm like, so I called some more experienced people than myself to ask some questions. And I'm like, yeah, those barrels aren't going to be any good. The problem is, I'm like, that water would have taken some of that, what I'm looking for, out of the wood. And when I go dumping it out, two problems. One, I'm going to run a lot of moisture into the honey, which is not what you're looking for. And that, other than alcohol, basically. And I'm like, yeah, you probably just pulled a lot of the flavor and oils and stuff out of the wood. And I'm like, yeah, it's useless to me. So I will say this, the more I talk to people about it, so certain char levels in the barrels makes a difference. And if you have more of I wish Michael with 21st B was on here. He is really good at this. If you have more of, I think it's, I want to say it was wheat. If you have more of a wheat bourbon, I think is what he said, you get a sweeter taste to it than if there is something else. I forget what he talked about. I can't remember. Anyway, we should have asked Michael Mahar with 21st B. He actually knows quite a bit about liquors and different things like that and stuff. So him and I talked for probably an hour and a half in regards to that. But that DC says rye. So that does make a difference in the way, in the flavor and the way it tastes. The char level makes a big difference too, because sometimes you can get a bit of a bitterness taste out of it depending on the char level, and that's not what I wanted. Some people kind of like that. People who like hoppy beers tend to like that.
Yeah,
that's kind of not what I was going for. So,
do you know what the char level is on your barrels?
Oh man, yeah, it's stamped on it.
Yeah, I think ours is stamped. I don't remember what it was, but looking down in there, it was pretty heavily alligatored with that that char.
Yeah, I don't remember what this one was. And they even had the, like, I think you said on there was the mash was stamped on there, which kind of is the concoction, I guess, if you will. And I can't remember now what it was. This barrel was from a distiller that was over in Illinois called Stumpy's. They do a lot of bourbons, I think.
No, I think they only do one bourbon. They do a lot of other alcohols, though.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure they only do one bourbon.
I'll tell you, one that I had really good luck with in flavor and taste was one that was a microbrew out of Colorado called 291, which that per bottle was like $160 something a bottle for this bourbon. So I don't really know bourbons that well. There's probably other guys that can speak more toward the quality of them. But this was actually, that one turned out really good. The taste was absolutely phenomenal with that. So I tried finding a couple more of those around here, and it's been hard to come by. So I would say every bourbon barrel is not created equal for what we are trying to do, and I'm kind of learning a little bit more about that.
And how much honey do you usually put in a full-size 53-gallon barrel?
I filled it about halfway. I did about roughly 25 gallons. The full-size barrel will be 53 gallons, and I did roughly about 25 gallons. What I did is I actually pumped honey at the pump, turned it all the way up, and then when it filled up to the 60-pound mark, I clocked it on my phone. So when I pumped it straight from the actual plastic holding barrel, food grade drum that I've got, into the bourbon barrel, I knew how many gallons I wanted in it, and I just calculated out how many minutes it was going to take to do that. And then, so from there, I guesstimated exactly what I had.
Okay.
And the idea was to rotate the barrel to really get surface area on it. Other things that people told me, some brewmasters said you'll get the most surface area out of a 15-gallon barrel, as far as like the volume of which it holds. Which is what you want. You want as much of that honey touching the sides as possible. That's why I didn't want to fill it all the way up, because I wanted it to saturate that the best that it could within 90 days. Okay.
90 days. Yep. I've got about 10 gallons in this 53-gallon barrel for a first try.
Yeah. And that was my first batch, was 10 gallons. I'm like, I'm going to try it. And I'm like, if it fails, the worst I'm out is 10 gallons of honey. Yeah. No big deal, And it proved to be helpful and useful and profitable.
It'll be interesting to see this. We got our barrel from a local distillery for a pretty good price, and it was very, very freshly dumped. So we actually had to dump some bourbon out before putting the honey in, let it dry out a little bit. So
somebody had told me, and I think this was, they were referring to a 53-gallon barrel. They said that depending on the char level, you can have as much as 3 gallons of alcohol that's absorbed into the wood on, I think they were talking about a 53-gallon barrel, which I thought was, there's a lot of surface area inside there.
Yeah.
So another way to do it, Michael talked about, is using in just a regular bucket. You can actually buy staves, corkscrew staves, soak them in bourbon for a period of time, and then throw those inside of your bucket, and then kind of mix them like that, accordingly. And obviously, the stronger the flavor or taste you want, the more staves you would put in there. So that's another way to do it without using the barrel. I've never tried it, so I don't know, but
our barrel supplier has a guy who makes bourbon maple syrup with their barrels, and he's done both the barrels and the soaked staves.
Okay. Yeah. I thought it was kind of interesting. It's a big seller for us, and as far as profitability, it's probably one of the higher ones. So when you're looking at adding value to a product that you already have, honey, you can either wholesale it for a little bit, or you can sell it put it in a bottle of your own packaging, sell it for a little bit more, or add value to it in one way, shape, or form, whether it's creaming it, adding flavors to it, storing it in a bourbon barrel, things like that, make even more. So,
and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for more value-added products, because I don't think we're going to be increasing the number of colonies a great deal for next season. So, trying to maximize what we're able to get.
Sure. Yeah, and I would say Brian Zavada with Flower Street's a prime example of that. I think they run like 50, maybe 75 colonies.
Like 75?
and he's diversified where he does, nucleus colonies. I don't know if he does many queens on that, but they do all the honey and then add a lot of value to each one of their products. So obviously, they're putting time, effort, and energy into it, but they're gaining a lot more profitability out of it. So, I mean, you can be more sustainable, I think, with smaller number of colonies, lesser honey crop and things like that.
Right. Yeah, I've studied Brian's candle page on his website, and that's something we're working on as well to get ready by Christmas.
Yeah. Those are pretty big sellers at a lot of markets, honestly. And
not tonight, but
not
usually.
Tonight. Yeah, I didn't have a lot of high hopes for where she was at tonight, but
I still met my minimum goal. I mean, that was my minimum goal, so I didn't need that. But
yeah.
Well, I've got to back out, gentlemen. I got an early morning, so been fun. Good to see y'all.
Have a good night,
Take
Keith.
care.
See you, Keith. No, well, I'm going to text Lee. Lee, I'm going to text you real quick. Oops.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be heading out too. We've got to get up and go to a reenactment with the co-op tomorrow, the school co-op.
Cool.
So thank you for the information, and I'll keep joining the chats. And
yeah, Kenneth, you're welcome to email if you ever have any questions or concerns. Hit me up at via honeybees plural @gmail.com. So via honeybees @gmail.com. You can hit us. Melissa and I actually share that email address with that operation. So if you ever have any questions, you can hit me up.
Okay. Yeah, I talked to one of you via Facebook Messenger to see if you were going to be on any chats this week.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I remember that now. Sometimes I lose track of who I'm talking to through different areas. So yeah, I know. I got you. We're on the same page then.
All right. Well, great. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
All right. Have a good night.
Highlight all the important events coming up.
No.
The dinner, the Highs for Heroes thing. Oh my gosh. That's what I was asking.
There you go. Slide in, young lady. Tell Mr. Old Man and the Bees all about it.
I leave the guys to do the chats by themselves, and they don't highlight the important events coming up to remind everybody to sign up for the No Life Be Life dinner at Nabi. And then Philip is working on, I'm working with Philip on the Highs for Heroes raffle fundraiser that he's done the past 2 years. So right now we're collecting donations for raffle baskets. So if anybody wants to donate a raffle basket or put something together, get a hold of myself or Philip via honeybees@gmail.com for me. I can't remember Philip's email off the top of my head. If you'd like to donate anything. And once we get all the donations together, I think the beginning of December is when he's planning on start selling tickets. He was actually talking with Craig Midget from Hives for Heroes today to set up a way that payments can go directly to them to where we don't have to handle the donation monies at all. So hopefully that can get set up appropriately. Were you going to say something?
I get Philip's email.
Philip's email.
So Philip's email, if anybody is interested, is P Morse. So it's PMORSE 81 @proton.me.
So those are the important things going on. As far as like our YouTube live chat groups are concerned, the dinner and then the Hives for Hero raffle. So
Brian wants to know what's tomorrow.
What's tomorrow? What day is tomorrow? Tomorrow's Friday. I don't cook on Fridays.
Brian, tomorrow we starve. We don't get to eat until Monday morning again. So basically,
I don't cook Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
So we starve.
But we'll be going out of town anyway to the Illinois State Beekeepers Association conference. Hopefully we'll see Kimberly Schmidt there. So we'll be there because JW said he's not going.
Yeah, I wish he was going to go, but he abandoned us.
I'll be doing the honey show and Tom will be sitting in the classes. So if you're going to be there, seek us out.
Sometimes me and JW would just cause trouble, but now I have to do it by myself. So,
well, I'm into this fondant deal, and my nephew's coming. He's supposed to be here tomorrow, so maybe he can help me.
Kimberly said she's already there.
Oh, nice.
We're leaving about 11 o'clock, 10 or 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. So
Yeah, it's 2-hour drive for me, like 2 hours and 9 minutes, so it's not that far.
but anyway, that's the update
You don't
news.
have fast
Oh,
drive.
I'm sorry?
You know, that 2 hours and 9 minutes, that depends on how fast you drive. You know, if you drive faster, it's going to be 2 hours and 8 minutes.
That's right.
If you drive a little slower, it could be 2 hours and 10 minutes.
So if I'm driving like mad, it'll be 3 hours. If I drive like JW, it'll be an hour and a half.
That's about right.
Oh, I do want to throw out there though, as far as the Nabi dinner, I can't post the flyer because Ricky's not on here. So if you want to see the flyer, go to the No Life Beekeepers Facebook page or email me and I can send it to you. But I did inquire about what it would cost to have a pizza catered to the dinner, and it's actually not as unrealistic pricing as I thought. We would need to raise just about $1,000 to get additional that we already have to what we already have to get that to be a catered event. So again, not requiring anybody to do that, but if you'd like to turn it into a catered event and you want to donate towards it, that'd be great. Again, any money that we don't use for the dinner will be donated to Hives for Heroes. So nobody's making any money off of this except for maybe Hives for Heroes. But anyway, just a little update on the dinner because I know some people have been asking about that recently too. But that's all the update information I have. Carry on.
I don't know. I got nothing. Matt, what do you got?
I'm tired. I gotta wake up at 6.
Mr. Irwin, anything important that you want to discuss?
I think he's sleeping.
I think he is too.
No, I'm not.
Question there.
How much for a box of those straws and where to get them? We sent our honey off. I don't know if you were in here, James, earlier, but we were talking about that just a short time ago. We sent buckets of honey off to a company that puts them in the straws for us.
Honey Acres.
Yeah. I mean, if you're asking to buy from me, I mean, sure, I'll sell them. You can reach out to me via honeybees@gmail.com.
All right.
So, Brad, any last minute thoughts or words of wisdom for us?
That's all I got.
That's all you got? Tapped out for the night, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, almost done my second gin, so
I got you. Time to settle in for the night then.
yeah.
All right. Well, Mr. Lee, man, I know you're in the background. You can take us to the closing. So appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight and putting up with our nonsense. And it's been a good time. So
We'll have to take up a collection and get Ricky a new power cord.
I know we're definitely got to do something there, right?
Start a GoFundMe.
New dog.
So,
Sounds like he needs.
New dog. Little muzzle for the dog.
shot collar for the dog.
Get him in at least.
And a new mic for Matt.
Yeah.
We're not hearing the pig this time.
Well, I did notice
Not
the
a lot.
pig went away.
The pig's not there, but you're cutting out a lot.
Yeah, it's been kind of muted a little bit, not quite coming through, but there's been no pig
Missing
sound.
So
Pieces.
there's the email addresses if you guys want more information about the Hives for Heroes or the dinner. Hit me up, the Via Honeybees. If you want more information about the Hives for Heroes raffle, either me or Philip.
Yep. And if anybody wants to schedule a singing competition with JW and Boz, you can just go through me. I'm his agent. Hit me up with the Via.
I'll take that on.
Hey, I'm telling you, Brad, it's going to be well worth the money, okay? Well,
You can do Brad and his cats
the
versus JW and the dog.
I like it. I like the idea.
I've heard Brad sing. He's a little better singer than I am. Maybe not
Oh,
as good as
okay.
Boz, but he's a little better.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
quite a lot better singer than I am.
Well, maybe he's a better singer than you, but Boz might be a better singer than his 18 or 19-year-old cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, my cats, they do that silent meow. They're so old. It's just kind of, that's about it. That's all I get.
That's how they get.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Lee, man. Take us out, buddy. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good night to everyone.
Night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. And we're back.
Oh, and we're still live.
And
Hold
we're still
on.
live.